In this video, we will learn how to determine the null and alternative hypothesis statements using the context provided to us. Here's our first example. A presidential candidate claims that the proportion of college students who are registered to vote in the upcoming election is at least 70%. Suppose that we want to sample a number of college students and carry out a hypothesis test to see if this claim may be refuted. State the null hypothesis H sub 0 and the alternative hypothesis H sub 1 that we would use for this test. There is one key word in here that will determine how this test will work for us. And this word is refute. We are asked whether this claim can be really rejected or refuted. It means that the claim actually belongs in the null hypothesis statement because that's the one we assume to be true until proven otherwise, until we have enough evidence to refute it. So I'm saying that the claim saying the proportion of college students who are registered to vote in the upcoming election is at least 70% has to belong to the null hypothesis. At least 70% means it means 70 or more. So I'm writing that using the inequality symbol of greater than or equal to. So P, proportion, is greater than or equal to 0.7. The alternative has to take the opposite direction of P is less than 0.7. Here's our next example. An independent consumer group published its finding that the lifetime of electric bulbs manufactured by the big corporation are approximately normally distributed, with a mean of 660 days and a variance of 14,762.25. Big corporation claims that the variance of its electric bulbs is less than 14,762.52. Suppose that we want to carry out a hypothesis test to see if big corporation's claim is correct. State the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis that we would use for this test. In this case, we have a claim, and I'm going to highlight that claim right now. Big corporation claims that its electric bulbs have variance that is less than this amount. We would like to carry out a hypothesis test to see if this claim is correct. Please notice, this is the case where we need to find evidence for this claim, which means this claim belongs in the alternative hypothesis. Because I don't know yet if it's true or not, I'm still seeking the support in my data for that claim. So my variance is labeled by sigma squared. So I'm saying null hypothesis must be opposite of the claim that the big corporation has. My alternative hypothesis is the claim itself. Sigma squared is less than 14,762.25 for alternative, and for null hypothesis, sigma squared is 14,762.25 with a greater than or equal to as my symbol. It has to be opposite direction of this, and we have to include or equal to in the null hypothesis because the alternative has a strict less than inequality symbol. This is our last example in this video. A coin-operated drink machine was designed to discharge a mean of 7 ounces of coffee per cup. Suppose that we want to carry out a hypothesis test to see if the true mean discharge differs from 7. State the null hypothesis H sub 0 and the alternative hypothesis H sub 1 that we would use for this test. The key phrase here is we would like to know if mean discharge differs from 7. Differs is that word that tells me my alternative hypothesis has to say mu is not equal to 7. It's different than 7. Therefore, the null hypothesis must be mu is equal to 7.